Story 1. Hide your drugs. Strangely, I do not use or possess any. Story 2. 10 and 2. Phew, I'm glad I passed the paper bag test. Story 3. Did I accidentally do something illegal just by existing? Story 4. Act natural. Takes off clothes and runs around screaming conspiracy theories. Act natural for other people. Idiot. Story 5. Some of those who serve in the armed forces are the same people who burn crosses. Story 6. I hope they won't turn on their lights for me. I never did anything wrong. Story 7. I mentally searched my car for drugs even though I did not have any. Story 8. If a police officer pulls out behind me, I take the next available right turn. Story 9. Oh, it is a police officer. I have no other thoughts unless I am currently speeding. Story 10. Be cool, man. I'm really not all that concerned. I have had some bad encounters, but usually I just get a ticket. My fault. I have had positive encounters when I asked for or needed help. Overall, more good than bad. Story 11. See, I do not give a fuck. That is the problem. I see a motherfucking cop. I do not dodge him. But I am smart. I lay low and creep a while. And when I see a punk pass by, I smile. Story 12. I see a blue line in my head. On one side there is chaos, evil, and godlessness. On the other side there are firefighters, service members, and little white girls eating popsicles on the 4th of July. I think to myself that this is who Jesus works through to make it all possible. These are men of God sent to protect America, and I am so lucky to live in the greatest country on earth. I usually have to pull over to the side of the road because tears welling in my eyes make it hard to see where I am going. It is an intensely spiritual experience. Story 13. Honestly, I hope it is one of the good ones or he looks like a jerk, officer. I still smile as best I can and respectfully say hello, officer, and ask how it is going. That is my go-to until they give me attitude and cross the line. Story 14. Glad I'm not them. My job brings me into situations where police deal with squatters or people with mental illness. The Kingston police show a tremendous amount of patience. There were times when I would have lost my patience during interactions I witnessed. Story 15. Worry, like many people, rarely has good reasons and tends to escalate unnecessarily. Story 16. You know when you are at an airport and worry that you have accidentally brought a gun you do not even own? Same thing. Story 17. Keep going at the same speed. They already saw me. They will probably only pull me over if they see my front end dip. Story 18. I think to myself, fuck you. I hate you and everything you represent. Story 19. Damn. That guy could kill me and get away with it if he wanted to. Story 20. Oh look, a police officer. Am I a criminal? No. Do I have anything to hide from the police? No. Story 21. The answer to this will be very different depending on where you live and what color you are. Story 22. Shit. That's just a traffic cop. I've received many tickets and warnings. I don't mind walking police officers at all, because the chance that I will do anything wrong is close to zero. Story 23. All cops are bastards. He probably watches other men have sex with his wife and then brags to his police buddies as if it were him. Story 24. I hope this son of a bitch isn't bored and doesn't decide to fuck with me. Story 25. A meathead with an authority complex who is loaded up on steroids and human growth hormone. They probably could not count their testicles and get the same number twice. Story 26. They are probably not paying attention. Most of the time I am right. Story 27. Oh shit. D is gonna catch me and I am going to be arrested. Wait. I have not committed any crimes and I pay a large amount of taxes. Hello, officer. Story 28. Let me slow down from 75 to 72. Other than that, I wonder if I know him. Story 29. I am a normal human being and can be trusted around controlled substances. Story 30. If I'm in a car, what speed are we going? Otherwise, my reaction is, a cop. Increasingly often, I wish they would not completely ignore all the petty crime and quality of life problems. Story 31. It depends where I am. If I am driving, I make sure I am not speeding. If I am walking around or having lunch, it does not bother me. Story 32. A high-speed pursuit is about to happen as I toss out the empty beer cans and paraphernalia in 3, 2, 2.5. Story 33. I have no thoughts. Seeing a police officer is, for me, like seeing a mail carrier or another local government worker. Story 34. What lie will they tell me and how many times will they say gotcha before putting me in handcuffs? Story 35. My hands tend to pat my pockets to see if I accidentally brought a dead body with me. Story 36. Try not to pat them on the back because you will go to jail. Story 37. Usually something like, please do not make any assumptions about me based on how I dress. I wear mostly black with toned-down punk and goth accents. Story 38. Damn, I used to be a police officer, but I was fired for mental health reasons, and now I'm sad. Story 39. Do not appear suspicious. You did nothing wrong. Story 40. I don't think of them at all when I'm on the road. In general, I don't trust or like them. Story 41. Why could the police officer not have been there 5 minutes earlier when that driver ran a red light in front of me? Story 42. Do they have a canine? And please, can I let it? Also, don't be suspicious. Story 43. Do not speak to police officers or be near them. Story 44. I live in Seattle where 911 takes 9 days to even call you back, let alone show up. When I see a police officer, it's like seeing a unicorn. Story 45. Am I dirty? No, I'm neat and lawful as fuck. Story 46. I think about what I would say if they started talking to me. I haven't done anything wrong. Go away. Story 47. I remember this quote from the Mosquito Coast. Think of them like a strange dog. Most won't bite, but you always take precautions until you're damn sure they won't. Story 48. Okay. Put both hands on the steering wheel and look forward. Stay within the speed limit. Oh no, a police officer is behind me. Will their lights come on? A few years ago, I was stopped because my tags were out of date, even though I put the sticker on my license plate. To this day, I do not know what happened, and I am paranoid because of past events. Story 49. He or she is one trigger pull away from becoming a card-carrying tyrant, if they are not already. Story 50. Just keep walking, and for the love of God, do not put your hands in your pockets. Story 51. I get a warm, nostalgic feeling. My dad is a police officer, as are several relatives and most of my parents' friends. Seeing a police officer reminds me of my dad and of fun times as a child when my parents would have all their friends over for a barbecue. Once that passes, I feel much the same as I would toward any random stranger. Story 52. A person whose sole purpose is to ruin someone's day, so their job seems necessary. I certainly do not feel safe or comfortable in their presence. Haters are going to hate. Story 53. Depends on the location and situation. Most police officers are unpleasant. Many rightly hate their jobs and some wrongfully abuse their power. Anytime I see one that I do not need, I perform a threat assessment, double-check that I have my carry permit, and avoid movements that could draw their attention. If they follow me, I take a short counter-surveillance route and try to be as unremarkable as possible. Story 54. Oh, that's a police officer. If I'm in a vehicle, I check my speed. Other than that, it's just my brain recognizing the police. Story 55. Coming in the opposite direction, I check my rearview mirror as he passes, hoping he will not turn back. When he is behind me, my first thought is, oh shit, and I pull into the nearest business if possible before he or his plate scanners see my registration. I have been caught before, but I have avoided many tickets by being observant. Story 56. Time to spin the wheel of random stuff that could get me pulled over. Story 57. If I'm driving, fuck, how fast am I going? If I'm at home, fuck, who died or got hurt? Story 58. Somehow I know there is a pound of heroin in my car that materialized at this exact moment. Story 59. I wave hello. If the police run my license plates, they come back as veteran, so unless I murder someone while an officer is watching, They just wave back and sometimes tell me to slow down over the public address system. Story 60. See a thug and gang member whose entire life is devoted to lying and treating everyone as a potential crook. Story 61. Honestly, at first I thought, ah crap, who are they after now? After a moment I sighed a little, knowing it was not me. After being pulled over despite more than 25 years without being stopped, also known as my entire driving record, for not having a front license plate, which I have not had on any vehicle I have driven in the last 15 years, I now see a police officer and wonder what they will pull me over for this time. Story 62. Are they going to look for a reason to stop me and take out their frustrations? Or are they good cops? Story 63. Nothing. Cops don't bother me. Never have, never will. Story 64. We should appreciate their service. Dealing with the problems caused by 5% of society is very stressful. Police rates of divorce, alcoholism, and suicide are much higher than average. It is a thankless, low-paying job with high personal risk. Story 65. A man attempting to appear intimidating, but who crumbles if you stare at him for a few seconds. Story 66. As a criminal justice student, I wonder whether police officers know how to handcuff correctly. Many do not follow proper handcuffing procedures. Story 67. Oh God, what kind of problems are they trying to find now? Story 68. Don't do anything abnormal. I will proceed to be the worst possible version of normal. Story 69. I do not have any thoughts at all. I typically do not speed, so I just keep going. Story 70. I am grateful but mad as fuck that I do not have to stress too much about being shot in front of my baby because I have a light complexion. Story 71. I think of my dumbass brother who's a cop, and I always laugh. Story 72. I say, police! Aloud. A reflex from doing nefarious things as a teenager. Story 73. Oh shit. Do I have any weed on me? I have not smoked in a very long time. Story 74. Suddenly I think I'm doing everything illegally and have mountains of drugs hidden in my car. Story 75. I always want to ask them, do they know they are a corrupt piece of shit bootlicker? When, during their formative years, did they decide to make being a murderous bully their career? Story 76. It's like that with people. I don't like humanity as a whole, but I like some individual people. Story 77. That is a person who can do anything from ruining my day to ending my life and would most likely face no consequences regardless of what I may or may not have done. Story 78. I say, bring it. I quit drinking years ago, and I carry car insurance. Story 79. I think of how, in nature, a predator waits for the right prey to be vulnerable. I refuse to be that prey, so I keep my hands on the wheel and drive the speed limit like a good driver while others pass me and do whatever they want. Heh, suckers. Story 80. Hilariously enough, it is something along the lines of, do not even think about fucking with me. I am not doing anything illegal. Story 81. There was always something about my mother. She was a bad person, and the police took her away from me when I was a small child. I always thought the police would instantly know who I was because of my mother. Story 82. Let off the gas and check your speed. Hitting the brakes draws attention. Even if they did not record your speed, braking gives them a reason to stop you. Coasting reduces speed gradually and looks less suspicious. If they are using radar, they captured your speed the moment you saw them. Hitting the brakes only makes it worse. Story 83. Hey, have you considered getting a meaningful job? Like pizza delivery or window washing? Those are jobs that help people. Story 84. I had a friend from basic training who became a police officer. After his first few years on the job, I asked him for advice because I wanted to apply to my local police department. I asked whether it felt different to be an officer. He said no, but when he is off duty, he still looks in his rearview mirror because he does not want to get pulled over. He told me that old habits die hard and that officers sometimes view other officers warily. Story 85. I feel sympathy for them because they have to endure being yelled at by miserable, lunatic, loser protesters. Story 86. I eye them down like they stole my lunch money in the 3rd grade, silently thinking please don't do it. I really can't afford a ticket, and then pretending I had punked him. Story 87. Are they here for me? Yes, I do have a reason to think that. Story 88. Do I have anything on me, and if so, how much does it weigh? Is it concealed in my groin or in my pocket and likely to be found in a search? Story 89. Am I doing anything illegal? No. Okay. Act innocent. Story 90. Nothing. If you are not speeding or doing anything to get their attention, there should not be anything to worry about. Story 91. Hello, Mr. Saucifer. I don't know why. My mother says it, and I started saying it. Story 92. Go to the bad part of town and actually fight crime. Leave me alone. Story 93. To quote a show, fag. It was quickly followed by fuck you. I have met more corrupt and incompetent police officers than in any other profession. 3 guys tried to drown me at my class's high school graduation party, and when I reported it, I was threatened with arrest. Story 94. This person is stressed and must remain in that state for their entire shift. Prepare to deal with them accordingly. Story 95. I do not pay attention to them when I am driving. I follow the law. I wear my seatbelt. I do not speed. I use my turn signals, and I always come to a complete stop. Story 96. How fast am I going? You all who automatically slow down are bad drivers. Story 97. How fast am I going? Have I broken any traffic laws in the last few miles? When I was an officer in my patrol car and saw another police car, I felt the same way as when you leave a store without buying anything. Story 98. Depends. If I'm speeding and see blue lights in the rearview mirror, shit, I'm busted. If I've just wrecked and see blue lights in the rearview mirror, help has arrived. If someone blows past me at twice the speed limit and I see blue lights in their rearview mirror, I celebrate because they got them. Story 99. I just continue with whatever I was doing without making any changes to my actions or thoughts. Weird, isn't it? Story 100. Oh wait, I'm old, of legal age, insured, and not holding these days. Story 101. Check my speed. I am happy to see them because they make me feel safe. Story 102. I hope I do not get pulled over even though I have done nothing wrong. Story 103. Different every time, but usually it is the oh no anyways meme. Story 104. Internal dialogue. Hi, how are you, not how high are you? Say it right this time, dumb shit. Story 105. Act normal. Howdy, officer. I swear I am not doing anything illegal. You nailed it. Story 106. I pray, dear God, if you are really up there, please make sure I have no outstanding warrants. I will do only good things in your name from now on. Please cover me this one time. I will get them taken care of. Promise. Story 107. If they have someone stopped, someone is having a worse day than I am. If they are parked or cruising, I check my speed, adjust if necessary, and stop thinking about it. Story 108. Hey, can you pigs give us a push? Cheech and Chong. We say that all the time. Story 109. Honey, pull your panties back up and put your breasts back in quickly. Story 110. Why can he be on his cell phone while driving but give me a ticket if I do the same? Story 111. Do I smell like marijuana? Then, when I realize I probably took a bong hit within the last 20 minutes, I silently plead not to be pulled over. Story 112. I am glad not to be a minority. Otherwise, my whole life could be ruined by this bigot with a badge. Story 113. Panic is not a thought but a reaction. I am not fond of it. Story 114. I think to myself, act naturally, and then say moo in my head. I don't know why. I saw it on a television show years ago, and now I do it every time. Story 115. I always think they believe he could get away with running. Story 116. I had a police officer tailgate me a few days ago, and I wagged my finger at the officer in my rearview mirror. How can we take them seriously when they are breaking the law? Story 117. Thank you for your service. I hope you are not corrupt. Story 118. A combination of, oh shit, run, and he's kind of hot in that. Story 119. I did not do it. Nobody saw me do it. You cannot prove anything. Story 120. Do state troopers count? I just call them goddamn stotties when I see them. I say it in the car, not out loud, obviously. Also, if you want some good anti-police music, that is some killer hardcore metal, a crania delusion in a discordant system. Story 121. It depends where. State troopers or Royal Canadian Mounted Police. For state troopers, I feel respect. For my own city, I think of assholes. For some boroughs around my home city, I think of tough people who care about keeping their place a good one. Story 122. I wonder if he is going to use his turn signal. No. Story 123. The chorus of Breaking the Law repeats. Story 124. How soon can I be in a position where a police officer does not see me? Story 125. I'm going the speed limit. Surely I'm not going to be pulled over. I haven't broken the rules. Phew. Those were the thoughts of someone who hates getting in trouble and always suspects that one day they will be stopped for no reason. I have been pulled over once at a random traffic stop. That panic was intense. I even considered turning around, but I went forward to the waiting police officer. My sister always told me to keep my hands on the wheel and ask before doing anything. I don't remember if I did. I was so nervous. The officer was nice. Story 126. As for where I am, I do not give them any thought. Unless I am being problematic, I do not think they will bother me. Story 127. As a biker, I usually slow down and try to avoid looking at them because where I am from, police officers sometimes get bored and just stop people for no reason, laughing out loud. Story 128. I let off the gas and look at my speedometer while saying, shit. Story 129. Thank God I double-stitched the body into the mattress. Plenty of time to get away before they find it. Wait, just me? Story 130. I may push it a bit, but I am usually careful to follow the law. I still get nervous when the police are around. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.